Thank you, Amy Francis, Uncle Mike, for that song. Thank you very much. We have some other family members that I don't get to see too often who travel mighty far to be with us. And I just wanted to recognize my Uncle Michael, my cousin Marilyn, cousin Julie, my cousin Ozzy. And just thank you so much. My cousin Jack in San Antonio. Thank you guys so much for being with us. Well, if you guys could stand up, I'm sorry. They told me, they said, four. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for making the trip and celebrating with us so much. So, on this portion, if you guys have any tributes or want to say any celebratory words, you can. And if you don't want to, it's okay too. But I did want to acknowledge you guys for coming. This is my cousin Julie. I'll give her a hand. These are my dad. These are the cousins my dad grew up with. We don't ever get to hear from these people, so let's celebrate.
This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. It's really good to be here. Raymond, should I tell them? Okay. How much you gonna pay me? You forgot to tell me how much. No, wait here. I can't tell it all, but I'll tell you the time. First, we're gonna talk about a man of integrity. And with all of you that know Raymond and love him, you know that he is a man of integrity. Integrity is a cornerstone of character, embodying honesty, virtue, moral uprightness in all aspects of life. In the Bible, we find figures who epitomize the essence of integrity, demonstrating unwavering commitment to truth and righteousness. From Joseph's steadfastness in the face of temptation to Daniel's integrity in the midst of adversity. Some Bible verses that inspire men to embrace the noble pursuit of integrity, upholding principles of honesty, honor, and righteousness in their actions and decisions. Did I do that right, Raymond? Is that it? Okay, all right. So let's get to the good stuff. We know Raymond is a man of integrity, and with his lovely wife, Beverly, we love her as well. But I have the goods on Raymond, not on Beverly. So I'm going to tell you a few little things. I jotted down just a couple of little notes, so I'm just going to be from my heart or from my head. So in our childhood, my mother was the 10th child out of 15. Raymond's mother was nice. She was a year before my mother. So there were 15 of them. So with Raymond, during our childhood, my mother, who was Mary Jane Hale, his mother was Ethel Hale. So we were just like that. We were more than cousins. You know what I mean? You have them cousins that you're like, okay, here they come. But then you have those that are like, okay, yes, I'm happy to see that cousin. So we were like that. We were so close that they thought my brother was an Ethel's son. So that's how close we were. She had all the boys. And so I was the one that was spoiled by her. She didn't have any girls. So when it came to girls, she was like, okay, Mary Jane, why don't you give me your girl? You got a girl. You got Marilyn. She said, you're crazy. You're not taking my baby. So anyway, with Raymond, he was the oldest out of our little group. And we go over there practically every weekend. And you know, they used to have, I'm telling my age now, but they had them fights on Friday night. Y'all remember them? And so we would go over there, and Aunt Ethel would fry chicken, and we'd have hamburgers and all that kind of stuff. Raymond was the oldest. And to say less, I talk a lot, but Raymond really talks a lot. So anyway, we'd be over there having a great time. And I remember before he went to the Navy, we would go over on the weekend, my sister and my brother and, you know, all of his brothers, and mom and them would be going to some fancy, you know, celebration or a dance. Back then they used to really have them. And so we would go over there, and Ray said, well, what y'all want to do? You know, him being the oldest. He thought that he could tell us everything. So anyway, he said, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and then I'm going to make y'all some cookies. We were like, cookies? And so he really thought he was a baker. So Raymond would get in the kitchen and we'd have to sit down, we'd have popcorn and, watching television. He'd make these cookies. And we were like, well, what kind of cookies are you going to make, Raymond? He said, they're going to be oatmeal cookies, but they're going to be the chewy kind. I said, the chewy kind? So he said, go sit down, they'll be done pretty soon. So they come out of the oven and we're all sitting around, got our little milk. We're like, we'll have some real good cookies. They're about yay thin, really brown, and really crunchy. And so he said, how you like the cookies? We're like, they're wonderful. What happened, Ray? You still have the recipe? Oh, never mind. I don't want it. So anyway, in high school, Raymond was a runner. He was a long distance runner, a great swimmer. So he went into the Navy. So he was on Kitty Hawk. I remember that because when he went, the war was hot, Vietnam time, and I said, okay, Ray, I'm going to write you. And he said, yeah, okay, Julie, you can write me. And I literally did. I wrote this man every day. I wrote him every day. So that was something between him and I. He was like my brother rather than my cousin. So we had a lot of things in control, and, we just talk all the time. And we were on our way down here. We had gotten separated from Michael and my sister. So my husband and I were in our car trying to get here, and guess who called on the phone? So, Raymond. GPS going all loud, take a right at the next exit, and, there's traffic ahead, all of that. And it's like, oh, what we're going to do? And I had to answer it because if I don't answer it, he'd be like, oh, so you ghosted me now? So I answered the phone. He said, hey, cuz, what you doing? I said, oh, nothing, cuz, how are you? We were just talking and talking. And so it got to the point of the conversation where we had to turn down the GPS. Michael had to turn his completely off. So now where are we at in Texas? We have no idea. So we're just driving. I said, well, maybe he'll be done in a few minutes. It was 59 minutes. We were on the phone. I said, Ray, I gotta go. He said, what are you doing? And I said, Lord, please don't let me tell another lie. I said, we're driving. And we were. We're driving. And he said, well, where y'all been going? I said, oh, just nowhere. But Ozzy and I just got in the car and we're just driving. Needless to say, yeah, we were lost. So anyway, Raymond is a good guy, and certainly, Beverly, we love you dearly, and you have our prayers. And so anyway, but 40 years, oh my God. So we're like, okay, Raymond, he said, 40 years, can you believe that? I said, I believe it. I said, with us, it'll be 54 years in November. So I said, we got you on that count, but you are older than us. I guess you waited a while to get married. But anyway, blessings on your anniversary, Raymond and Beverly. In celebration of your love and God's grace in your lives and laughter you've enjoyed, the commitment you've shown, the people you've inspired, and the legacy you've established. May his goodness and blessings bring you rich contentment always. Ephesians 3:20-21 says, now to him who is able to do exceedingly, abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that work in us, to him be the glory. Amen. I tell you more later.